And I feel like that's what you need. When we're not sure if this is a position 2 or a position 4 coddle, for that matter. So I think it's just very important that they pick something that's not this Storm Spirit that's going to be able to get onto the coddle, just in case Storm isn't in the perfect position or he has other priorities that he needs to deal with.
Are you expecting Patriots to show much with this next pick, or is it more than likely just going to be support to hide their cause for the later stage?
I honestly still think they could just go for the Earth Spirit, right? Like, if they wanted to keep that Pugna Flex in the position 3 role open, then you need to pick a somewhat tanky support to be able to, take the brunt of the harass in the lane, make sure that the core Pugna is able to get a lot. Again, this could be a 5 Pugna, but you want to keep your options open, right? They've got the last pick of this
Dire
phase, which
team
is when
pick.
I feel that they will be looking to make that decision. So why not just go for your position
Radiant
4 or
team
even your
pick.
1, right? You can see the
Earth
tiny, but
Spirit.
yeah, they just Earth Spirit.
So it's a lot of magic damage at the moment from Patriots, so they have to consider the 18th and 24th is something where you might need a little bit of physical because otherwise BKBs are going to be a big answer to their
10
lineup.
seconds remaining.
Absolutely. Even just a way to
5
directly address
seconds
the tiny,
remaining.
right? Because as of right now, outside of Earth Spirit going a Spirit Vessel, there isn't really one. So I'm keen to see what they look to opt for. Necrophos is already gone. It's one form of percentage damage. It's really it that's been removed, though, right? So got a number of other things in the pool. There's the Doom, there's the Underlord, there's the Wyvern, Lifestealer. Still a few options.
Trying to see what route UDV want to go down now, though. You haven't really got the craziest coddle pairing, even if they want to show that it's a core or not. Like, I feel like you're not pigeonholed into one drop, but these 16th, 17th will reveal a lot of what they're thinking about.
Yeah, I mean it's a really good puck game if you discount the Pugna, right? Like you just want
Radiant
something that's going
team
to be able
pick.
to keep Storm Spirit and Earth
Night
Spirit locked in
Stalker.
place and reduce the movement. And I feel like Night Stalker's not too bad from that. I honestly wouldn't hate Night Stalker puck coming through here, right? Night Stalker gets on the Pugna, prevents the potentially the Netherward from being dropped, or at least is going to have that decent attack
10
speed and
seconds remaining.
way to get right on top of him or even the Storm, right? To prevent him if he
5
doesn't have the
seconds
BKB from
remaining.
having a huge amount of impact. And then the puck can kind of be that tool that enables the tiny to just walk up into a team fight because he's probably not going to have a super early blink dagger and be that surprise factor. So I kind of want to see the puck here, even though if you just look at it on its own, the Pugner is a pretty damn good response to the puck. I feel like Night Stalker addresses that.
And I feel like the puck plays really well around vision too, to help jump the back lines even easier, maybe
Dire
even make
team
sure
pick.
you don't get caught out.
Disruptor.
I was thinking if they were going to go Disruptor or not. I didn't bring it up because I thought the Storm and the Earth Spirit might be enough of a deterrent just because of the easy gap close, and Disruptor doesn't particularly like to play into that. But Disruptor Night Stalker is a very good combo. We were just mentioning about the
10
puck and someone
seconds
who can
remaining.
really utilize the vision extremely well, and Disruptor can do that.
5 seconds remaining.
I suppose. I mean, the thing is, I don't think you're going to be. Are you going to be
Radiant team
diving the
back.
same support target on both of these spirits? They
Lifestealer.
do go that lifesteal that I was mentioning. Um, because I don't think an Earth Spirit 100 to 0 is a disruptor, right? Like, you might be able to get the roll, you might be able to get the slow, hell, you'll probably even get the silence. But I think you're still, unless the Earth Spirit's level 20, going to be able to get a glimpse off, going to be
10
able to get the
seconds
static storm
remaining.
still as part of your survivability. All you
5
really need to have is
seconds
like a
remaining.
raindrops, right, to a dodge at least one of the magic damage nukes that the Earth Spirit's going to have in on top of you. And I feel like if a Storm Spirit also zips in into the same spot, then you leave yourself a little vulnerable, perhaps, to some counter initiation from the Tiny, for example.
I just think the main thing is that Disruptor likes to survey fights, and if he doesn't get good abilities off, like spellcasting wise, if he uses Static Storm down for just an Earth Spirit, then I think that's a win.
Dire
But
team back.
kind of like what you were talking about before with regards to the puck, Night Stalker gives a ton of vision, and Disruptor is one of those heroes that loves vision. Just the glimpse is going to be mega useful this game, provided that UDV are playing on the front foot. And I still kind of feel like the puck, man. Like, it's not great against the Life Stealer, but I
10
feel like
seconds
Tiny is
remaining.
fine enough. Like, Night Stalker is fine enough against that. If you're caught
5
with the
seconds
Static
remaining.
Storm, Lifestealer doesn't really like to buy a BKB or anything like that, so you're kind of stuck if you get caught inside that. And you got to keep her of the light, right? We've kind of ignored this hero a little bit here, but you can just look
Radiant
to have that
team ban.
constantly refreshing a puck's cooldowns, going in further, dishing out a ton of damage. Even the Night Stalker or the Tiny, right? Both very good combinations together with the Keeper of the Light.
Do you feel like there is a position too that they can pick up on UDV that will offer some BKB piercing control?
10 seconds remaining.
Are there any? Just off the top
5
of my head, I'm
seconds
just thinking.
remaining.
Like I'm looking. We don't see the hero a
Dire
lot.
team ban.
It's a bit out of left field, but I wouldn't hate a mag, honestly, because I think it also enables your Night Stalker. Your lane should be okay versus Storm, because you
I
can.
think it's a little slow. That's my only concern, right? You don't want this to go late game with a Life Stealer against a Tiny, because Life Stealer can really put in the
10
work if it
seconds
gets to that
remaining.
stage. And we've seen what a
Mm,
Storm Spirit can do, right? But, I mean,
5
to be fair,
seconds
Storm gets really
remaining.
strong just at 25 minutes, right? With that Null Talisman build, so can
Radiant
really go either
team
way.
pick.
for UDV ban out Razor and the Lina with the last phase, that's Patriots focusing that, and UDV looking to try and take care of some of the Law's hero pools. Of course, we still know that they can flex the Pugna and then look for like a position
Dire team
5.
pick.
Here they go.
Don't hate
Oh,
that either. I
oh,
mean,
this hero is still there.
the yeah, right. So good. I mean, you got what, two strength cores so far? So even the Spirit Siphon's going to be nice. Another three silences. When's the last time you've seen a lineup with three silences in it? It's pretty great.
10 seconds
But just with
remaining.
their last two bans, the Sand King and the Mars, they're heroes that
5
prevent you from
seconds
just
remaining.
they're bodies, right? They're counter initiations. Ones that if you run at someone and you're not the initial one caught out, you've got a great way to be able to turn around a team fight. And we've already see Storm Spirit, Earth Spirit, great at also being able to do that. So even if you catch out something like the Pugna, that's not to say that you're going to win the team fight as a result. Even better if the Pugna can drop the Nether Ward when you expect that the aggression is coming. So I like those bans. The question is, what are they going to do? They can't Tide Hunter, which is the other big stand in front of push heroes because you're up against all of this silence, right? Something that your Kraken Shell doesn't really do too much against. Maybe the Death Prophets, but not Night Stalker and Disruptor.
Just trying to see what the flaws they have in this Patriot draft and what they need to cover with the last pick.
Could they Wyvern?
They
Like, it's a lot of physical damage that you're up against. It's percentage. It's the
You may now
Doom.
select
Okay.
your
That was
heroes.
one of the other heroes that I was mentioning, but it's not the greatest, right? In terms of being able to respond to a gank. It does feel like they also need to be the ones on the front foot. So it's going to be the UK Pugner, paired with Marmung Dyer, of course. He's just going to be that power bank walking around the map with him, and Delul playing the Doom. So I don't hate either draft, to be honest. I feel like they're both strong in their own ways. UDV, of course, going to be playing on much more of an aggressive front. Patriots, every minute that they can get, where they just want to push it slightly later to enable this Lifestealer to get a couple more items, to enable the Doom with his Midas Devour to get a lot of net worth, is a big win for them. And of course, like Storm, he's an early and a late game hero these days. So
10 seconds remaining.
it's kind of nutty what you're able to do. UDV absolutely need to be getting
5
aggressive super
seconds
early on.
remaining.
I think they have the lineup to be able to do so as well, though.
Mm.
I think BKBs are going to be very important for them on UDV. But importantly, I think with the vision that Night Stalker can provide and Ken probably going an early blink, then you can just blow up heroes left, right, and center. Like Storm should be blown up, Pugna, Earth Spirit. And I think UDV are going to play off the back of vision at just fast tempo as soon as they get kind of BKBs and playing whenever Exo's up. But I like the Patriots draft a bit more. I think they can get to that later stages. It's a really good life stealer game. It's a really good Doom game. I think it's your ultimate's exceptional versus the Death Prophet. We've seen a lot of teams in Division 1 on Southeast Asia actually put some priority on the Doom into the Tiny just because of the percent damage. They feel like it's worthy enough to be able to pick this hero. So we'll see if they can get to that stage. That's my only concern. But yeah, I'm going to give a slight edge to Patriots. Nothing crazy.
It's certainly very close. And, even against the Night Stalker, right, you don't have permanent BKB. And we've seen so many times, a Night Stalker survive on 10% HP, and he really just wants to stay around being that hero version of a harpy creep, duck in, use the void, maybe get a couple of right clicks with your Echo Saber. You can't really afford to do that against the Doom, right? He's got the Infernal Blade. He's going to be able to just hit you once and actually deal a good chunk of your HP. So I don't know. Like this is really, really even to me, to be honest. I feel like if you're UDV and you're needing to go that fast-paced style, not to say that they would hate to get a kill onto the Storm Spirit, but the one that they actually need to shut down is the Lifestealer. I feel like that's where a lot of the aggression needs to go because, sure, you might get, what, 6 kills onto a Storm Spirit, let's say, in the first 25 minutes. Storm's still going to have 5 Null Talismans and some Power Treads at 25 minutes if you do that, right? So his impact is going to be pretty similar. He'll probably have level 12, at least at that stage, you would hope. So, you're not really gimping him that much. Whereas if you're stopping a lifestealer having much more than an armlet and maybe, a Sange at a similar stage of the game, maybe better than a Sange, maybe a halberd, then it does make your chances a lot stronger, right? Because Night Stalker is going to be very strong once he hits that level 12 in particular. Tiny, of course, just amazing at being able to come online pretty early into the piece. And I feel like Doom kind of just farms regardless, maybe not getting as much experience from it, but as long as you're not getting the massive Pidus and as long as you're using your Devour, it's generally okay. So I think Lifesteal is really the one that they're going to be looking to put a lot of focus onto. So I think that's where UDV are going to make some of those early rotations.
Just so everyone is aware as well, we do have a pause, hence why we are not in game. What was a disconnect?
We just said, you know what, I just want to talk.
Yeah.
We said, players, can you wait? We have a few things that we need to go over, but should be back soon.
Class to start game. Always, it's our fault. We got 1G, looking for the second one, but so all your eyes are on UDV to try and slow down Jikroy and what he can get out of the Lifestealer. But how do they do that? What is the main thing to be able to slow the Lifestealer down in this game?
Gank him. I mean, it's nothing. It's not rocket science, right? Because the damage that you've got is pretty fast, right? As long as you've got that Exorcism running, if you've got Dark Ascension going, and if you've got even a Tiny joining in and looking to invade where Lifestealer is, especially in the early stages, range TP isn't necessarily going to save you. That is a lot of damage that's still going to go through the spell immunity. So I feel like they've got the tools to be able to do it. As UK's getting scouted out a little bit here as he walks forward to try and block up the small camp, and the pings immediately come out there. Maybe thinking that they might have already put an observer ward down? Sure, that's what they're going to be looking to scout out and see who's got one of these observer wards in their inventory.
Well, look at the low starting item of wand and 3 branches. Very interesting for the Doom.
30
Just wants
seconds
stats on
to
stats on stats, I suppose. It's not like a Tiny really does too much in the form of spell usage, though. Disruptor doesn't have the hugest mana pool. You often find yourself running dry with a Thunderstrike. I guess he's got 2 mangoes and a Clarity, but yeah, certainly very interesting.
Not the ward. Oh, no. All right. At least Slim gets a D ward, so nothing crazy. Sentry drop. Was it blocking the camp? Yes, it looks like it is.
Double
battle
value.
begins.
Love to see it. And 2 for 2. All right. So I like that read as well from UDV. They said, okay, well, we pop the smoke over there. They're probably not going to ward on the left-hand side because we'll have complete vision of it. Where are they going to ward? It's going to be the high ground, something that they could just do during that pre-0 second nighttime since they won't have the vision of it. So good read. They still get the deny. Well played by both teams.
What damn among
Aries,
die.
why did you pause it again?
Why am I getting the blame? I feel like it's your fault. You're the one that's been speaking. You're just wanting to continue rambling on. As UK says, all right, we've spoken enough. We can get underway here for our game 1. Of course, it's a elimination along with qualification series. We're looking for that 3rd team to move over to phase 1 to join the likes of Army Geniuses along with Execration that have already qualified.
Yeah, really like UK's build as well. Look at all them stats and just pure bonk damage that he's able to do. Pugner's got a pretty good attack animation, pretty good attack speed as well at level 1. Very fast movement speed, one of the few that can rival Coddles. He's just gone again, stats on stats on stats, looking to try and bully these two out of the lane because I know you like to say that the Night Stalker's lane isn't that great. It's better than it used to be, but something like this Pugner is able to put in a lot of harass.
They will have a lot of spam though in this lane with the blast along with the void. You got to make sure you hit the combo, but this is a duo that I like to bring up often whenever it is drafted. That China played it a while ago as a position 1, the Night Stalker Coddle, and having the spam of the void can be a lot of damage that people don't really respect.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, level 3 is where it starts to come a little bit stronger, but they're missing a bunch so far in lane.
It's like they're not warmed up at the moment for UDV, but we'll see how their safe lane is going with Ken onto the Tiny. As always, Tiny's going to be having a good time. Nothing crazy really for Ken. The Doom is a bit more of a passive laner, although I wonder if if he's going to consider going for a point in Infernal Blade or not.
I don't... what's the region looking like? I think maybe 1 point at it is generally okay, because I don't think you're getting too much done with the Scorched Earth. It only costs 40 mana, so it's not like you're going to be running too dry with that one. He's got the Chain Lightning, though, actually, so I feel like you want to be harassing a fair amount with that.
Yeah, see, Delaw's been spamming it. Multiple usages out on Tiny, but he's got Lost at a Tango that he just used, but Disruptor's even going to sell over a Tango as well, so they will be okay in regards to the resources bottom.
Any camps are blocked up as well. Like, they blocked their own camp? No. It looks like they've just dewarded there on Lim, making sure to try and block up any kind of attempts that Tihi's just going to use to body block the hard camp there. But the Observer Ward looking to remove this potential Devour spawn target.
Or mid lane,
Maybe
Among
just-
Dire. Hang on a second. JG, that's a huge solo kill. The Death Prophet being able to hit the board in our game 1.
All right. Pretty damn exciting. Almost brings him all the way up to level 5 as well. Very nicely done by JG early on. This is what you want. You want that snowballing potential.
See how they can look to play around the Death Prophet too. As I mean, they're already
Mama
back
Guy.
to...
Oh, no, T.
Oh, that's
What
as good
a
as a
player.
kill. That is as good as a kill.
Well, he's got to be careful. I mean, they had vision of him as well. He walked right underneath this cliff ward, so very obvious spot that he was looking to play around. Even gets the... Man, they're just like, target Mamang Daya this game. You're not getting any stacks. You're not coming back to the lane. He's looking to have to build up his own stacks, and he also spent an extra 50 gold on buying the smoke. It's rough.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And He's still here. So what's the play with the Disruptor? Oh,
Be annoying is the play.
Radiant structures.
We're seeing just that. They're going to force a rotation out of Lim. JG taking multiple tower hits, and okay, well, Mamang Dai would have loved to get the kill. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but at least you put JG in the grave.
Yeah, he tried to transfer aggro. So we saw him like A-clicking his own creeps, but the tower just didn't change. I think the dire creeps blocked him off from being able to get back to that stage, and well, it's a very valuable turnaround kill.
On
T.
mid lane,
He's actually
T.
going to get gone on here.
Tried to overstep to stop Mamang Dai from getting the water rune, but unfortunately that's going to put him in a position where Lim can roll and get onto Tiki, but he'll be
bottle.
okay.
Gave him the sip.
Mamang Dai,
Oh,
see, no Spirit Siphon charges. So won't be able to continue playing aggressively.
but a lot of this attention being paid towards this lane. I'm honestly kind of surprised that they haven't done a little bit more to... I mean, it's not like they really can, but Delul is just going to be totally happy with this turn of events, right? Laning one-on-one into the Tiny. You can see he's gone that one value point into the Infernal Blade. 1 point in the Devour, but isn't using it for whatever reason. Maybe just wanting to wait until he's one more level, but he just wants the range creep, probably. Oh, the siege creep, never mind. It's a good way to keep the lane pushed in.
Mid lane, Exo's out, first one of the game, and we're going to force the rotations out of the supports. Help UDV to try and play with JG, and Patriots looking to defend as best as they can.
Oh, gotta be careful, Mamang Dai. You can't just walk straight on back here. Ooh, doesn't get the glimpse off. If he glimpsed him, he's all the way back at the base.
And now Teehee's in trouble. He's going to be rolled on among Dai and Lim, putting a lot of work in the early game, and even Delul's going to rotate. Okay, a huge movement from the Doom, but it's going to get the Exorcism health back over to the Death Prophet. So JG will scurry on out of there, but you see the emphasis that Patriots are putting on to defend this tier 1 tower.
It's really important. Again, you gotta... Oh, Jikro's taking a little bit of harass up on this top side as well, trying to bait in a little bit, and yeah, nicely done. Quick fingers on the rage there.
They're going to keep chasing,
Just
though.
level 1. Yeah.
Then her rage was already used, so Rapido can easily get the Void to slow and then can close the distance in the tree line. So that's a good way to start the nighttime for Rapido.
Would have been going even better, though, for UDV. Like I said, a simple glimpse, and Among Dire's all the way back at base. So I suppose he would have been able to do a bit of a zip play to be able to avoid it, but means that he's not going to be expending as much mana to actually win that team fight.
Even get a D-ward. So JG pretty much full control over the lane mid, but with 50 seconds on cooldown for Exo, imagine we're going to see the Death Prophet just try and farm up, and then maybe... Do they commit the second Exo mid because of how low the tower is, or do you consider top?
I think you can commit it mid, just because you're going to have... The way that the lanes work is that mid lane is a bit shorter than a lot of the side lanes, even the safe lane, which is typically the short lane. So I'm just looking at a little bit of trading going on this top side. Potential for some dives going through here while it is nighttime, especially... Jikro feels like he's safer considering the Dark Ascension isn't available just yet, but he just gets pushed out of the lane. So mid lane a little bit shorter. So I feel like you can look to use that siege creep with the Exorcism, even with how low it is. Immediately TP top. That's going to be about the time that the siege creep top reaches the lane, and look to use probably at least half the duration of the Exorcism that you've got remaining to look to try and take that tower as well.
And all while this is going on, Ken. Alright, so we're starting to see the new Tiny build transition into some other regions. Of course,
wow.
This was the build that China innovated, and then I believe we saw it at least once over in Eastern Europe recently. Is Lim not going to get the role? But yeah, I'm
a bunch of copycats, you know?
Pretty much a bunch of copycats. It's a cool build. I really like the build. I'm quite the fan. It gets...
Needing to invest on this Lifestealer just to be able to get a little bit of that regen back. He's tired of getting run at, and actually they end up popping the Exo top, so I'm wanting to put a little bit more priority, but I suppose if you could do it now, it means you don't need to wait until that 10.5 minute mark.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Still going to accomplish the same thing and allow
JG's
you
actually tipping bot. Okay, so they want to put the low firmly out of this game. It's going to be his first death, but with that Midas completed, we all know what happens if a Doom goes untouched.
Still end up getting what... They get multiple, right? It's the same... It's the same general...
Lane T.
Actually mid.
Yeah, they're going to be able to dive the Disruptor onto the tower for the Radiant side. Looking to start to move on over. Rapido has the Dark Ascension to be able to utilize, but they will not catch up to him among Dire or UK. It's a nice read from the Pugner to TP up, but they do stop some of the aggression that Patriots were putting on mid.
Yeah. Same general principle, though, what I was talking about, right? You get a tower plus something else, and I would suppose that taking out the Doom is probably that secondary priority. Lifestealer is first, Doom is second, Storm is third, and the fact that they've been able to do a pretty good job, they've got a very comfortable net worth lead on their Tiny so far relative to the Knights Lifestealer, so they've done all of the things that they need to do super early on for UDV. We'll have a little bit of a window of weakness, though. Full minute until the Exorcism, no Dark Ascension for 100 seconds, it's daytime. Setting up a lot of money, actually, on Rapido. I wonder what he's looking to buy. He'd just be going for that Blink Dagger, perhaps. Trying to get in on top of the Storm Spirit before he's able to avoid and zip around. But you can just see, realizing that they've got that weakness in timing, going for the smoke here on the Storm Spirit and the Pugner. Pugner's level 6. Doesn't quite have the Tranquil Boots, though, so only be able to use that replenishment once. And look at Ken, realizing that they've been missing off the map for quite some time. Makes the rotation back. I have to say JG might make another stack for the Tiny, but that Hyperstone. He's like, you know what? I just want to try taking it now.
I guess this is one of the issues with the Patriots lineup is that they do kind of struggle with taking towers. There is, I suppose, 2 points in Nether Blast, so it's not the worst, but we see how UDV have been able to open up the map early, and I think Patriots need to do the same, but they don't really have this easy way without Exo. There's Jikroy.
Yeah.
Oh, they've got Static Storm. Oh, beautifully played. JG with the Yours already is enabled to set up for the Static Storm. So the Lifestealer will be killed off. That was perfect from UDV. Just a synergy coming out in their items and the abilities.
Very nicely done. Not even needing to use that exorcism for the kill onto the highest priority target for them, and most likely transitioning into this mid lane. Even got the
All right, let's see Lim.
all right click on the tower. Yeah, nicely done.
They have the Doom. They're going to send back the Lul, however, to the bottom side. So an easy tower, and now JG. He's on the prowl, but they don't have the glimpse to drag Lim further back. Of course, she was just prior, so an easy tower secured.
Typically, you get one of those things. You forget that Disruptor Glimpse, because it's really not in the meta right now, is a factor. JG. Seeing him walking around here a little bit. There's no Sentry Ward coverage, so...
Killing them.
On
Alright,
top
let's
of
see.
Dire.
Repeater, if he can just get in range. No, we cannot. Nice. Storm goes the opposite direction. But they will still be able to chase down Delul. Lim's going to stand on the side and watch, maybe chucking out a kick, but this will not deter UDV from continuing the chase. As the Doom easily ticked out to the maxed out Spirit Siphon is plenty of % damage.
And does go for that Blink Dagger, so really wanting to punish this Storm Spirit early on. Make sure... Oh, or even the Lifestealer, right?
Top lane?
Again. Basically every single target other than... I guess maybe the Earth Spirit. You probably don't want to be wasting the Blink Dagger Crippling Fear for him. But everything else, you really want to get on top of them right now if you're Rapido. No BKBs available, can't pop the Rage. It's very tough to play.
We were speaking a lot about how UDV need to kind of push the tempo and continue playing fast. So what is those next items we're looking for to continue on that, or even, I suppose, abilities?
I mean, they're getting close to the Boots of Travel on JG, which of course just allows you to keep a lot of lanes shoved out. You're already very survivable. Seems like they're just going to, I was about to say play around their cooldowns, but Exorcism's not up for another minute. Making a rotation with Teehee, perhaps feeling like the Static Storm is going to be able to provide that additional team fight that they're requiring, but I don't really feel like they can accomplish too much here. Be wanting to play around some of their vision and just see UK, his positioning, to pop a smoke. He realizes that, again, they want to play aggressive. They've been missing off the map.
Among Dire runs straight to the Keeper of the Light. Looks like it's an easy kill for the Storm Spirit. We've seen this matchup always prove to be issues for the Coddle. They're just an easy way for Storm to gap close onto the backline, so really nothing forced out. So maybe Patriots can go for another aggressive play.
Both teams honestly playing better than their records so far in these this phase 1 of the BTS Pro Series would indicate, right? Like a lot of recognition of what the big strong points are of either lineup and responding to it accordingly. Still say, UDV, they're in a comfortable spot. 3k net worth lead, nearly 15 minutes in. Tiny with a very comfortable net worth lead here. At 2,000 ahead of the Lifestealer.
Yeah, Ken's giga farmed. He's already got enough gold for the Moonshard before it's even 15 minutes in. In fact, he's got plenty, so he's sitting very comfortable on top. But I guess one thing to mention as well is that Delul's having a relatively good time. Devour's maxed out, is getting decent use out of the Midas. We'll be going for the BKB. Next is UK. Glimpse back to the stairs of mid, but Rapido a bit too late to follow up. They're still going to continue to hunt. A second round of the Void up shortly. They've got to respect the potential Doom turnaround, but a nice sidestep. Rapido dodges the roll. Now they're into Delul. Ken even feeling like he could show up to brawl at the early stages and the Tiny's burst.
He's
it's enough to get rid of the life, and Rapido, yes sir, the vision. It's important to be able to catch out these pesky supports. Now maybe Mamong Dai might be in trouble.
Crippling Fear in a couple of seconds. He's got the Blink Dagger in 5. They definitely want to go for this chase, especially with no mana on Mamong Dire. I don't know if you can go for that dive. They also get the Earth Spirit at the same time.
And they're not even done as Mamong died. The remnants of the T1 tower. He recognizes the inevitable. There is no escape for the Storm Spirit. As meanwhile, Ken We should take in a T2 tower.
Just tiny things. Whack in and on top of it, and he's going the Blink Dagger as well. It's just about push the tempo. Push the tempo. They just got to keep go, 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 and they're doing everything right so far. Big mistake there on Delul to think that he can go back on into that team fight. He did feel like he was a little bit overly ambitious. Maybe you can consider that once you've got the BKB, but till that stage, you need to be a little bit more cautious.
And we see how hesitant Patriots are using this Doom. You have really no ways to stop UDV from just running out of the area with whoever is doomed up. Like, it's going to be reliant pretty much on just the Earth Spirit stunning the roll and the Storm Spirit Vortex, and they are not enough stun to prevent UDV from just kiting out the big ulti and the Doom. So, still looking to find our first one, but I still don't feel like it's going to have much impact.
Team Among Dire up here on Rapido, right underneath that Observer Ward. I don't think they're in a position to be able to punish it just yet, though. You've got BKB on this Doom.
See, really doesn't want to force it.
Trying to bait out a lot. Yeah. He's got Pugner there. Feels like unless they actually do commit on the Tiny, they're still in a pretty safe spot. But speaking of those Blink Daggers, speaking of that aggression, Tiny's got one, and it's level 16 as well. Looks like to be the easy kill. I don't want to actually see them connect through onto this with the Tiny. Feels like a little bit of a waste. They could have still had that surprise factor to take out one of the more important targets.
See Delul.
Well,
Limbs back.
Pop now. Yeah. That's worth it.
They Roche.
Yeah, why not? Moonshard. Vision advantage. Exo.
It's still going to take quite some time. What's going on bottom? Rapido. Just going to utilize the Dark Ascension, seeing UK posturing aggressively, although UK will deter the Night Stalker. In fact, it's enough to push him all the way out of that attempt. So that's yeah, that is Dark Ascension expended.
Yep.
A gift from the Tempest of Battle. Haste.
He got left on in about another 15 or so seconds. That should reveal that they've got this high ground ward though on UK, sorry, next to UK. So it'll look to be just a little bit of a free golden experience injection for one of the supports, but you don't really want to be playing on your side of the map at all. I mean, when's the last time you saw anyone on Patriots really playing in their bottom jungle at all? It was really just the Night Stalker looking to get a freebie while they took Roche for free.
We have seen... Oh my...
You have to. You have to. You have to buy this BKB. They've got way too much silence.
So awkward though for a lifesteal to go second item BKB. He's not going to have damage for quite some time.
Looking to try and get some backdoor damage in onto this tower. Respecting the lack of the Exo, the lack of the Dark Ascension, it's a pretty good use of your timing there. And of course the rest of the team just camping right underneath that Observer Ward, so feeling somewhat safe. Might look to put a little bit of pressure on this bottom side, right? At least force someone to TP down there. Don't want to be splitting up too much, though, giving free pickoffs kills to this lineup that really excels at it.
Definitely feels like, though, they can probably contest this advantage that UDV have. You just got the triple BKB timing on all the cores, so... I believe it is go time for Patriots, but it's just a question of how you can execute the team fight perfectly and get good usage out of Delul's ulti.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, we haven't seen a single Doom, have we? 20 minutes in.
He's waiting for the right one. It'll come. I believe in Delul.
Dire's top tower is under
You'd
attack.
have to say it's got to be on the DP,
Radiant's
right?
bottom
Like,
tower
try and
is
get
under
the
attack.
jump with the Blink Dagger that he's now just finished up. What's the vision looking like for Patriots? It's not horrible, the fact that they've still been able to keep a lot of these two semi-unorthodox wards and one kind of obvious one. But they're just looking to play around that as much as possible, put some pressure onto the bottom side. Can't get picked off here, Delul. I know it's tempting to want to keep that mid-wave pushed out, particularly against a level 19 Tiny. But you're just going to be feeding your life away if you do. Yeah, trying to go back towards the safety of his team as quickly as he can. It's not going to be too bad.
Radiant's bottom
He
tower
is
is
starting
under
to
attack.
set up bottom. Now the extra TPs are raining in. Jikroy, of course, he has the BKB. He's going to pop the Rage early. Nice heads up play from Jikroy. Needs the Infest. And they will get out apart from Lim, unfortunately. Nicely played from Tiki.
But it's kind of what you want, right? Like, you lose a support, you probably lose the Observer Ward, but you get TP rotations back. It's something that, again, they're playing for the later stages of this game. Jikroy had to go the BKB just so that you didn't lose the game right now, and now he's going into one of those much more valuable items in the Heaven's Halberd. He's got the Sanj component now, which is going to provide him with a little bit of a buff at this stage of the game. It's just about stalling out that little bit longer. I mean, imagine if it gets to 25 minutes, right? Even if he doesn't get another item, Among Dire is going to be so much stronger.
UK. This is pretty deep, but there's going to be no contention. Patriots just have to watch UK be killed off, and now they're eyeing up Jikroy mid, or maybe just the T2 tower instead.
You'd much rather it be one of the
Dire's
supports
middle
still,
tower is
as a
under
result,
attack.
but, I mean, it's a tiny. This is just what the draft does.
Dire's
Wax in onto
middle tower
towers.
has fallen.
Not really worth using the glyph at that stage. They want to try and bait in the UDV lineup to be a little bit cocky, feel confident about the timings. Maybe just wanting Tiny to hit up onto that level 20 for the extra status resistance, but if you can get to that stage, you should be pretty happy.
I think it's just rinse and repeat if you're UDV. You just got an
Dire's
arcane
bottom
rune
tower is under
on the
attack.
Death Prophet, so the T2 tower bottom, I imagine, is going to be the next
Dire's
on the
bottom
agenda.
tower has fallen.
To reach that level 20, again, for me, it's all about just wait for the level at the 25-minute mark for Among Dire. You'll probably have Halberd at that time. You'll probably have Kaya Sanj at that time as well. That plus level 15 Fairy's Trinket, you are going to become a lot stronger.
Just
in
jump to the
about
back
2 minutes.
line. Damn, look at that, man. Just 3 hits limb.
Yeah.
Earth Spirit just really can't do anything with a tiny this farm, 5-0-1, but it's just like Radiant have had full map control. They're going from lane to lane. It's only 14 kills, but it's just they're taking so much of the economy out of the map for Patriots.
Got a Kaya from Among Dire. I'm a poet. I didn't know it. But yeah, the lane's just constantly being pushed in. They're not yet losing the last tier 2 tower, but it's going to happen pretty shortly, even without the luxury of this Aegis. I feel like it's a wise choice by the Patriots to not want to directly engage into that. They have to play around the safety of their high ground. They just do.
Oh,
Go for
they're
a
smoking.
smoke. Well, what's their vision like? Can they see anything? No,
So.
it is entirely dark. So what do you do into this? I mean, UK's setting up some kind of vision around that tower, which you kind of know that's where UDV are looking to play. Jikroy going to reveal on the lane. Wanting to make it too obvious, but look at that. Smoke pops.
Oh.
Can't go in first, Lol. Can't do this. Can't let them catch you. Really wanting to wait for the disruptor, though, it seems. But again, like, Patriots, they stall out the game. Just that extra couple of minutes can be the big difference maker. Halberd now, I believe, finished on the Lifestealer. Almost 25 minutes for the Storm. Got the Kaya. Not looking to go for... Probably won't have the full Kaya and Sanj. There's nothing else, really, that you're going to get in this time, right? It's just, you got to wait
Oh, this
40
could be
seconds.
scary. UK is going to run underneath the cliff ward. Again, just pounces. The rest of Patriots, they didn't move closer to the Pugna. I thought it would have been worse with UDV's advantage there with the vision.
The only kills they've been giving up in the last 4 minutes, though, have been supports, right? 2 on the Pugna, 1 on the Earth Spirit. So it's not that big of a deal. The only big deal is that, I guess, the death timers are sitting at around 30, 35 seconds, but Pugna has buyback. Earth Spirit does not. So they're looking to put a little bit more emphasis onto him, just to have him be the one to quickly shove out this wave as opposed to the Storm Spirit. So, pretty key that you have that turnaround potential, even if it costs you a couple of buybacks. 8,000 net worth lead, 14% win probability. Saying from the start that I did prefer UDV's draft, but I'm not counting Patriots out. And we've hit that 25 minutes.
It definitely...
He sold his 3rd Null Talisman for Dust.
Huh. It's got Witchblade next as well. So, I've...
Yes. Needing to be able to catch out the Coddle, right? He's got the full Glimmer Cape.
Yeah, I'm trying to... The Storm Spirits are... We're seeing different builds from them all. Is Ken going to go for this? No, of course he doesn't know where Lim is, but... I can't remember if it was Toronto, Tokyo that was going no boots on Storm. Or... Because I think there was someone in Eastern Europe that was going no boots, and then I think someone else
From the
was going
beginning or
boots.
by the end of the game?
From the beginning, because we've in Southeast Asia we've always seen this treads into nulls, and then 25 minutes in or really late game you'll get rid of your boots and go from there. But I was kind of quite surprised. That was the first time I saw the no boots from the beginning.
Was it paired with an IO? Oh, actually,
Jikroy,
oh
my.
here.
Let's see who they can bring down to start. Mamung Dai targeting the backline, but they don't have the damage at the moment. It's going to continue to chase Lucifer, but the BKB is soon to expire, so the Storm Spirit's going to have to get out. Meanwhile, to the north, though, Rapido continuing to chase it to Lul. They've got the ward on the high up, but the Dark Ascension is so difficult for them to deal with. Flying across the map, they just can't lock down into the Night Stalker. Dulul doesn't want to use the Doom, so Rapido flies on away. Still got plenty of time to be able to evade Limb, although they're continuing with the damage over time. So the Blink's being cancelled. But look at this, they were instantly to bottom on Ken and JG, looking to try and get objectives instead of taking the fight.
We still haven't had a Doom, and it's been 27 minutes. I feel like you got to spend that one onto the Night Stalker. I mean, he's had a pretty solid game. It would have been a 4 kill streak going over to him.
Uh-oh.
Would have been nice, but...
Uh-oh, Dulul running underneath the detection as Ken pops the BKB to try and deal with the Blast Freak, but they've got no answer, and now Ken might be in trouble along with JG. They know everything's on cooldown, so Dulul utilizes the Doom. They'll kill off the Death Prophet, but Ken is going to try and turn this one back around, especially with Teehee locking them inside the stairway. It's a triple for Ken, and now they're eyeing up more. It's Dulul feeling like they can go back in, but the Lifesteal is showing up, but Jikroy's getting kited, a force to the low ground, but Jikroy, can he stand his ground? The Lifestealer starting to rip apart the Tiny, but Ken has still got plenty to go through. All the physical damage doesn't matter about the BKB as Ken ends the fight with Beyond Gorlike and a 5-man wipe as Patriots. That was really the first fight we've seen them all show up. The Lifestealer hasn't been active. We haven't seen the Doom, but it did not work out.
Yeah, and you just see how important it is as well for them to, both sides, honestly, to be able to get kills onto the support super early on. And unfortunately for UK, he used the decrep on the wrong target. He used it onto the Storm Spirit to slow him down that little bit. He ended up copping a full Avatos combination plus the Keeper of the Light, Eliminate Blast, plus that also allowed, with those extra stuns being prioritized at that stage, Disruptor to close the gap, get that Static Storm off. So I think for Patriots in particular, this Disruptor, this Coddle have to die. You saw the previous team fight to that one. It went much better for the Patriots because Mamung Daya, with his first BKB usage, was able to take them out.
Now this 3-second Roche for UDV. Got Aegis and the Aghanim Shard with no contestation from Patriots. It's Ward again. Again, they're going to be able to start the fight and see just UK being a pesky man trying to get any information. Will be penalized for that. Is Rapido up to make a killing streak. And I feel like at the moment we are seeing, though, Lifesteal's a very good matchup into the Tiny, but this hero needs items. You really want it to get to that later stage, but you can't stand your ground in Manfight at the moment. Basher will definitely help out, but I think Scardy's that next big one for him.
Yeah, I mean, you are 6 levels behind as well. That's also something that you need to consider. Double to... hello, Lifestealer? Oh, he doesn't get the right toss off, though.
I like the point you bring up, though, because, yeah, he's 6 levels behind, and Jikroy's actually going to jump back. If they can kill off the Doom before his ultimate, but Dulul protected with the BKB, Ken still doesn't care at all. Fessed up, keeping the Lifestealer healthy along with the Doom. Mamung Dai, though, doesn't have too much mana to play with. Tossed up into the air, and it's going to be killed off as soon as he lands, and now Ken's eyeing up more targets. They'll kill off the Tiny without committing Doom. Maybe they can set up for the second life, but the drag back to Dulul won't have that opportunity, as once again, an exceptional usage of the Static Storm. And now Radiant, they still have to respect the damage. Forced to reset. Lim's got to roll further into the hands of Ken. He's got more and more trees to play with and plenty of damage to go through the lives of Patriots.
Yeah. Use that first Aegis, but what does it really matter? You know, it's you're still hitting up onto this high ground. You've still got 4 heroes dead. Still got a siege creep as well, looking to hit in, and They're even looking to use the recall there just to bring people back to these team fights really quickly. I'm not sure
Oh, another
what a
fear!
Doom buying back is going to do.
Yo!
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Oh, what a
Doom,
yo!
this is... Oh, might just be feeding your life away. He'll be fine.
Of course T's got Ags. Like, why not?
Yeah, he was being very passive, just like when they were making those 4-man rotations around the Roche pit area. He was just sitting inside of his own jungle, just farming away very slowly. So wasn't lucky enough to be able to get the Philosopher's Stone. He's still holding on to a Possessed Mask, actually, on the Disruptor. Could probably change that out for, oh, I don't know, a Blast Rig. That'd be pretty good, I'd say.
And look at Ken. He had Moonshot backpack, but now he feels like Satanic is enough to backpack. So Tiny's got all of the items he would ever need, and top lane Delul. Infest bomb, but it's a bit too late. Oh. And now Delul's continuing to farm. So UDV are fine to take the fight. They jump out, but Lifesteal straight into the Aghanim's. Oh no! They didn't know Tiki had the Scepter. And there was nothing they could do as soon as they left the Infest. Or maybe the among Dire. Well, gets a support kill, but that's all he's going to find. The TPR will be successful, but the rest of the team sent packing in a body bag as UDV. And McKen's still flawless, 15-0-5, and they're going to call it quits as UK has had enough. The GGs are out.
Really solid performance coming through from UDV. You know, this is the big thing that we were seeing yesterday when we were casting MY against Motivate Trust. I was pretty bullish about a lot of MY's chances because I was like, all right, they've got the way to just run over this game, but they didn't take their chances. UDV, they did. They realized that they had those early strengths. They had that way to play around it. And yeah, with this Moonshard, you are very capable of joining in the team fight super early on. So they like the way that UDV have looked to play. Again, even though they were relegated out of the DPC, they seemed like a lot better team than that end result. So good on them for being able to get this first win. Patriots, I don't think they should be too discouraged. I think it was just a really good draft coming through from UDV that they executed to perfection. It's a lot of little mistakes. No, not a lot of little mistakes. Some little mistakes that added up to something so much bigger. You know, like the glimpse back onto the Storm Spirit, preventing him from farming a couple of waves, meant that he wasn't able to get active onto the UDV supports, which meant that the Lifestealer was in a little bit more danger, which meant blah, 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 blah. 6 levels behind, losing your racks 30 minutes in, losing 2 Roshans. It was just way too much for Patriots to handle. So you could tweak a little thing, but I don't know, maybe ban out the Death Prophet as well is another way to go about fixing it. But good performance from both teams.
Yeah, the fact that the Death Prophet got let through to the last phase is kind of crazy. We're seeing a lot of teams just pick it up first phase, either bans or picks themselves. And I wonder if the Tiny is going to be something that Patriots are considering, because Ken looked dominant on it, 15-0-5, and UDV now with a game advantage. Of course, this is a qualification match as well, so if they take one more game, then they will move over to Phase 2, which is the group stages of the BTS Pro Series 11. But we'll see if they can take that map victory after the break.